Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Game Week 18 preview show. I'm Chris, and with me is the man whose rage hasn't settled since last week. It's Kieran. Hey.
Good evening.
Yeah. So we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to hear about the fallout from Kieran's second week of his wild card. We're going to discuss the merits of binning Salah. I know, crazy after his 21-point haul, but it's a possible move this week for many. So we're going to talk about that, the Liverpool defence, and then we're going to move on to how Man City are going to react to dropping down to second in the league, and what this means for their main assets, namely Sane, Sterling, and possibly a returning Aguero. So without further ado, Keek, should we get on and have a look at how you fared this week? Because I know you've got some gripes still, haven't you, about your team?
Yeah, so I've still got 2 to play tonight, which is Dina and Richarlison, but I'm at 45 points at the moment. Yeah, pretty damn low. 2 points above the general average, and way below the top 10k again. Just continuing to be poor, to be honest. Dropped down another 10k to 72k in overall rank. Robertson did well for me, 11 points, punishing some of the sellers. One of the only good decisions I did on the wild card was Felipe Anderson. 12 points there with his nice goal and assist this week. Looked involved and great fixtures, so hoping he continues, so I think he will do. Aubameyang with the assist, which was something. I feel lucky that he wasn't the one to get hooked off at halftime, like Lacazette was instead. Put the captain on him, so 10 points from him. And obviously just not having Salah was the main downfall of this week, unfortunately. But, I got the people in for a reason: Sterling, Sane, Richarlison. Just the way it goes. It's very silly hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't happen this week. We were discussing, weren't we, last week, that it was always going to be a bit of a funny one in the fact that City were playing a fairly difficult away game against Chelsea, and I wrongly predicted that City would win quite heavily. I thought that Jesus would start and Sane and Sterling would be getting in behind a lot, but because they played that false 9 position really, and Sterling was sort of drifting in between, they just didn't look a threat, did they?
I don't think Sterling works there, to be honest.
No, I agree. And I said to you, we were watching it, I said in the end of the first half, I was like, I can see Sane getting subbed here just because they need more. And I think if Pep started that game again, I think regardless of Jesus' lack of form, I think it would have been a bit better for Sterling and Stane's prospects, really.
I think that's hopefully good news for the weekend. I imagine Sane will probably be dropped in Champions League.
Yeah.
Hopefully he plays on the weekend, because Mahrez seems to play all the Champions League. Sterling's been benched recently; he'll play. And then they'll probably play Jesus. So Sane might get a few minutes on the bench. Yeah, I hope that means Sane starts the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm quite ready to get rid of him yet.
No. I think you definitely got to stick with him. I mean, he's just he scored in the last game week, and now they've got 2 back-to-back home games. Mm-hmm. They've got to win to re-establish being top of the table by Christmas, which I think is quite a big deal, really. So, stick. So my game week was a little bit different on the flip side. So I had Salah, and I was quite convinced of captaining him. I just felt that if Liverpool won that early fixture and put the pressure on Man City going into that Chelsea game, that would be huge for them. And so stuck it on Salah, and was rewarded with that hat-trick like many others. And it was really pleasing. That set the tone for the game week. So Robertson as well, picked up those 11 points. Other than that, really, I didn't really have a lot going for me this week. Doherty got that goal right at the very end of the game yesterday. Alonso got a clean sheet. Yeah, Wilson obviously caught a lot of people out, didn't he? Where did that come from early on?
Yeah, this wasn't mentioned at all. How just giving nothing away, and as usual. And I think I heard a few rumors on Twitter in the morning, but nothing I believed. So I was just like, well, this is not happening. And then come Sunday 4:00 kickoff, Jimenez gets benched as well, and I was just like, oh my god, this is a bad to worse here. It was again frustrating week. I mean, next weekend or the Saturday coming up should mean that the rotation for most people is over. Most obvious players. So I should hope that my main 11 start. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think with the fact that it's the week's rest now, and then it's a bit more busy over Christmas, Boxing Day, and the game before New Year's Day. So brace for more rotation then. But I think for at least this week, we'll navigate it. So that I ended on 74 so far with just Richarlison to play. and Højbjerg to come in for Wilson. I think that moved me from 49k up to about 17 I'm on now, maybe 17 or 19, so that was quite good.
Yeah, we're swapping our ranks.
We have swapped. But we're only game week 16. We've still got 23 to go. So yeah, a long way to go.
I need to stop the rot somehow.
You do. A bit'll happen. You've got Aubameyang. He's consistent points apart from that Man United game. So I think you'll be all right. Cool. All right. So should we move on to? We're going to discuss each of the games from game week or in game week 17, and yeah, we're going to crack on with that right now. So the first game of the weekend next Saturday is the lunchtime kickoff between Man City and Everton. So this is the first of 4 home games for City. And I pointed out to you last night that it would be quite almost a differential in terms of captaincy options if Aguero comes back. We're expecting that he's been out injured with this muscle injury. He's obviously missed Watford, he missed Chelsea, and we saw how much City suffered without him. And I think Aguero is yeah, if he's fit in time for this one, we'll know a little bit more because we've got these Champions League press conferences. Yeah, his ownership is down to 25% and still dropping.
Yeah,
I think he's a good look ahead of this week. He's 5.5 average shots in the box. He's still got more shots in the box than every other striker in the game, despite missing these last 2 games. So I think with these back-to-back home fixtures, Pep's going to want to get firing back to the top of the league. I think Aguero could be almost a little captaincy differential this weekend.
Yeah, let's see if he plays Champions League, as you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can probably imagine him being rested for that, and then hopefully on Friday, whenever his press conference is, he gives us a sort of saying that he's fit and ready to go, ready for selection or something. Yeah, then I might consider bringing him in if I can, maybe a Salah out or something like that.
Yeah.
Try and bring him in. Maybe not this weekend, but yeah, with him back and firing at only 25%, that could be really good.
Yeah. Well, I'd said a while ago, or heading into the Watford game, I'd get Kane in for 2 games and then get Kane out again. But it's so difficult to do with that Burnley home game now, and the captaincy sort of on him at the moment. So
it's you'd be like that. Everybody knew you'd be like that as well.
I know. I didn't think I would be.
Yeah,
but I do want to get Aguero back at some point, and I do think Trippier is going to provide, when fit, a good cover of Spurs' points. So I think I will be moving to do that. But until I'm 100% sure Aguero's back, then I'm not going to make the move just yet. Playing it safe for now. So we've obviously got our eyes as well firmly fixed on Sterling and Sane. We talked a little bit about the fact that we both think Sane's probably going to start, isn't he?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Hard to say until we see the Champions League, really. Yeah, I think Silva's slightly injured now as well, isn't he? Yeah, Sane might be even more essential on that left side because Sterling didn't really work there when Mahrez and Jesus were on. Sterling had to go to that left, and he didn't really do much over there. So. Yeah, I still think Sane is pretty much essential over there, to be honest.
So it's interesting to see already in your team that you're not considering captaining either of them in this game.
I'm not sure at the moment. That's the talking point, really. Okay. I would like to captain Sterling, but I think I need to just continue with Aubameyang because I think he'll do well.
Okay.
I think. His ownership has gone up crazily, like 6 rises.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it?
Last week, I suppose. So, yeah, it's on Aubameyang at the moment, and I kind of fancy him in that game. Yeah, if I get cold feet, it'll go Sterling.
Well, just to back up the potential for Sterling captaincy, at the moment he's my vice, but he and Kane could easily switch depending on what happens in midweek with the Champions League. But in the 6 home games Sterling's had this season, he's produced 9 attacking returns. And the last game out at home was 14 touches in the box, which is quite an incredible return rate, really. So he's getting involved. He's in there having shots. And 9 attacking returns in those 6 games really screams captaincy potential there. So he is a strong consideration depending on these midweek games for me.
I mean, we thought they'd smash Chelsea. And then Everton are maybe equally just a difficult game. So yeah, I don't think it's a stonewall win for them or anything, and I don't think they'll smash them. So yeah, maybe 1 goal from him, 1 assist possibly. I don't think there's a huge ceiling from him in that one.
No, you're right. Everton have definitely shored up the defences. Yeri's come in, and they did really well, didn't they, at Chelsea? And then they were very unlucky to lose that last-minute goal at Anfield. So no, you could be right there in a low-scoring game. What are you thinking about Richarlison on the Everton side of things? Got 2 tricky fixtures coming up now. The first of which is this Man City game, and then they play Spurs at home the following game week. Are you a little bit, itchy feet on him, or are you thinking I'm going to stick it out?
Slightly. He's one I've been thinking of getting rid of for a few weeks. But I need to see how he does tonight, really. If he can produce a masterpiece or masterclass tonight, then I could possibly be confident that he could get an away goal against City. But then again, I've got Dina as well, and I'm probably going to have to bench one of them. It feels a bit awkward that if all my players were fit, like Trippier and Wilson and stuff, and I'd be totally fine with that. I could bench them and maybe play Wan-Bissaka against Leicester. But yeah, not sure at the moment. He's just on the line, on that thin line. Basically.
Well, for me, he's definitely coming out this week. I've got 2 free transfers, and it's just those fixtures and the fact that on the other side, Anderson has got Fulham away. It just seems like, although I'll lose some value, it feels like at this stage of the season I've got enough value in my team. I really want points more than value, and it seems silly to hold Richarlison for a tricky away game against Man City and then a home game against Spurs, which I think will be quite tight. And I think it's definitely Fulham away for Anderson, and then it's Newcastle at home. Oh no, who is it at home? Watford at home. London derby game. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep hold of him because he looked quite bright, didn't he? Palace at the weekend.
I'm looking at Hazard as a possible replacement for Richarlison.
Okay.
And Doherty and Trippier. But I can't. It's tough to afford anyone in Trippier's position for that. But it may be Sane, but I don't really want to get rid of Sane yet. I've only had 2 weeks to kind of see how he's going, and he's not performed, and he's not really had a chance.
No. I think anyone like you that's got Sane in over these last 2 weeks, just hold on for these next 2. You've got back-to-back home games. Be mad to get rid of either of them, just because you know what you can do on any given day. When City are firing these, easily a double-digit score on him. So
I just hope they don't go on a sort of like a turn for the worse now. After I've got them in, thinking they're going to smash the league up. And
I don't know. I mean, they've been doing so well, haven't they? And it's strange to see them second in the league. But Pep is he's got that winning mentality. He was livid after the game at Chelsea, so he's going to be wanting, to fire.
I want to see how they respond on Tuesday or Wednesday. How they play. See how they do in that.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the games at 3:00 next weekend is Palace against Leicester, which is interestingly the first of 4 games again, or first of 4 home games and the next 6 for Palace. So there's some good fixtures coming there, and I'm pleased that again Hennessy has sort of like a little bit of daylight because his fixtures seem to be a little bit middling. I can't really predict them. One of those home games is against Chelsea, but they've got Leicester and Cardiff in that run. So I think they're looking quite good for a potential clean sheet, I'd say, for this game week. I think Vardy looks like he's going to be out with this groin problem.
Yeah.
And I think it could even be a time where I double up and play Wan-Bissaka if I don't transfer out Richarlison. I think Palace's good defences, they play quite a lot, or quite a few of the big teams at home. They've played Arsenal, haven't they, at home? They've played Liverpool earlier in the season. They conceded 8 goals in 7 home games, so they haven't been battered by anyone yet. 2 clean sheets in that time.
Yeah.
I think this game against Leicester is a sort of game you can back their defence to pull off a clean sheet here.
Yeah, that's why I've got Wan-Bissaka first sub instead of Dina, because I imagine Trippier's not going to play. It says that he was expected back for the 15th, but I can't really see it with the kind of news that's sort of come out recently. So Wan-Bissaka on for that hopeful home clean sheet, although they've struggled in the last 2 games, haven't they? So after 2 really good clean sheets against Burnley and United, sort of maybe unexpected against United, they've kind of crumbled a little bit since.
I think the Brighton game was more of the surprise because you don't expect Brighton to score 3 goals. on the other side of that, West Ham, I think, are definitely going for another reason why I'm thinking of Anderson this week is Pellegrini came out and said after the game that I'm pleased we scored 3 goals again. This is what we want to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like he's gearing up to be a more attacking side. But 2 of their goals were worldies, weren't they? Anderson's and Snodgrass's were both very good. So it's not like they were conceding scrappy goals or their defence was getting ripped to shreds. It was 2 strikes of real quality from outside the box.
Yeah, true.
So I'd be I think Palace are looking good for a clean sheet in that game. What did you expect?
Maddison for a goal in the game last night as well against Wolves, wasn't it? Yeah, Wolves. I probably fancy Maddison for a goal in that as well. I hope he doesn't. Come on, but I think Maddison looks really good at the moment. Shame he's not a bit cheaper, honestly, because I'd like to bring him back in. It's like sort of a Charleston downgrade for the next few games, but I don't think he's viable enough to get enough money out of him, really.
After this Palace game, they've got a tricky game away against Chelsea and then a home one against City. So for those 2, I think if you've got Maddison at this point, you'd probably keep him for that Palace game and then look to get rid, especially if they don't have Vardy. I think their goal threat just dries up a lot.
I think Maguire's due to be back as well, so I think he's close to fitness and he'll probably start. So I think it could be a 0-0.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be low scoring. Okay, Huddersfield, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Were you impressed with them against Arsenal? Obviously, you had Aubameyang captain, didn't you? So what did you think of their defensive prospects in that game?
They did well, didn't they? You'd think Arsenal would smash them, but something slightly off. Huddersfield were just, solid at the back. They just sat back and did well. Not too much to say about that. Lacazette had a few chances. Aubameyang missed a couple. So they created the chances, but they just haven't been clinical this time, which Aubameyang has been previously. So I think goals are definitely coming from Aubameyang, but Huddersfield, they should do well in this game at home. Schindler could come in for people who have bought in. Good option for a clean sheet, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think Huddersfield's defence impressed me against Arsenal. They limited them to just 2 shots on target, which I think is quite impressive to go away to Arsenal and do that. So they're definitely showing some defensive resilience at the moment. And Schindler was one I was just going to pick out and agree with you on, really. I think he's a great option these next 5. They've got 3 really decent home games. And Schindler's only 4.3, selected by only 3.1% of the game, and 7 bonus so far this season.
Yeah.
I think if he's getting a clean sheet, he's almost guaranteed to get bonus as well. So it's almost just like that added assist potential being added onto his score. So I really like them. Newcastle, Southampton, and Burnley are the next 3, and they're absolute must-win games if they want to stay in the league this season. They're the games they look to. So
do you think they'll be able to handle Rondon? Rondon's looked a bit of a menace, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He looked really good against Wolves. Really impressed with him. He had all 4 of their shots, and it was interesting to see he was on that free kick as well, wasn't it? Just before the goal.
Yeah, great free kick.
It was a great free kick. So I've been really impressed with him. 4 goal involvements in the last 5, and 5.8 million, I think he is. Owned by 2.5%. So I think if Newcastle are scoring at the moment, it looks like it's going to come through Rondon.
I think Schindler and Zanka and Jorgensen will just have enough.
Yeah,
clean sheet, I think.
So you had the option, didn't you, before this game week, where you had Arnautovic out, didn't you? Did Rondon ever cross your mind as an option?
Not really.
Okay.
Just because I wanted Jimenez for a while, and he's tended to do well in better games, and his benching I obviously had no idea about. So I thought, this was the time to get Jimenez in, and Rondon didn't really crop up, I think.
Yeah, their fixtures start to stiffen up a little bit after they've got Fulham in 2 game weeks' time, and after that they then go away to Liverpool and then away to Watford and home to United. But that game against Fulham could be a really good one for any Rondon owners. So if you're hanging on to him, I think at least keep him for that one, because it'd be a good one. Cool. All right, Spurs Burnley.
Yeah, gritted teeth on this one. A little bit worried about not owning Kane, obviously. Probably won't have Trippier as cover either. I'm going to just behind the sofa. It'll be hatching against them last year, Kane, and there'll be whoever owns him will probably be captaining him. So yeah, scary.
Yeah. Well, this is again. This is another one of the teams that are first of 4 home games in the next 6. Spurs. So they've got these fixtures now right up until I think it's in January or February they play. Just a great run of fixtures.
Yeah.
He obviously was rested against Leicester for the 70 minutes, which screwed a lot of people because quite a few thousand people had Salah on vice captain.
Yeah, I was very happy when he came.
You were jubilant, I think. But
people were.
Yeah,
because I was so jammy.
It would have been jammy. I did feel a little bit sorry for people because you could see there was hundreds of people on sort of Twitter who were thinking, "Oh God, I've only got to wait 20 more minutes." And when he came on, he was like off screen for me on the live feed, and the commentator was just like watching Son walk off, and it wasn't until he came right off that I saw it was Kane, and I was like, "Whew, bullet dodged there." Because I think didn't Aurier get injured like 5 or 10 minutes later?
Yeah.
So it could have easily been in a situation where they were having to bring on players because of injuries rather than Kane. So yeah, commiserations to anyone that nearly got away with that.
Yeah, but it's no less scary this week, unfortunately. Yeah, they're even going to come off like this Champions League game, like super happy for getting through after Barcelona, or super pissed off and ready to demolish Burnley because they've been knocked out into the Europa League and
focus on the league.
Yeah.
It can't be like a good. You can't put a good or positive or negative spin on it for Kane this week.
No, I think he's probably just going to haul.
He's averaged 3.5 shots per game this season, and Burnley. I had a look at their away form, man. They can average 24 shots conceded per game away this season. So they picked up that clean sheet away against at home against Brighton, but faced 14 shots in that game. So they're just they're looking woeful at the back at the minute. Is there any way you could downgrade Richarlison and upgrade to Son if Trippier's definitely out? Have you got the budget to do that? I think Son is 8.4 now.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in the last one that I feel like Son's going to play the Champions League and maybe be rested for the weekend. Just because I think he's played like the last 4 now or something.
Yeah.
Or if he plays Barcelona, it'll be 4. So yeah, I think it might be his time to be rested.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I'll do that. So I think I'll be going Spurs.
Well, a little bit of trepidation for any people who are thinking about Son is he hasn't returned when he started on the bench this season. So even if he's come on, he hasn't picked up a goal or assist. But his form is unquestionable at the moment. We touched upon it last week, didn't we? But he's now up to 5 goal involvements in the last 4. He got the goal and assist versus Leicester, and I thought he looked really sharp. He did get the rest, didn't he? He got the last 20 minutes off, so he came off, didn't he, for Kane?
Yeah.
So I would have.
Makes me think he'll play Barcelona.
Yeah. But it looks like he and Moura are sort of swapping in and out at the moment for that position up alongside or just a bit in behind Kane. So yeah, really fascinated to see what the Poch puts out the lineup against Barca, because if Son becomes an option for that Burnley game, i.e. he doesn't have many minutes midweek, I think he could be a fantastic buy ahead of the weekend.
Yeah, but it seems like Trippier's not going to be back, so they said it's something like preventative conditioning treatment or something.
Okay.
Away from the rest of the group, so by himself. Which doesn't bode well. I mean, Fantasy Game said he's expected to be back on the 15th.
Okay.
Which is obviously this weekend.
Yes, that's no chance then, is it?
So, yeah, I think he might turn up in the Champions League. Who knows? Or maybe a week is enough for him to. If he's rested in Champions League, maybe a week is enough.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here. Then let's say he's injured enough to rule him out until I don't know. Let's say the new year. Where would you move to, and where would you advise other potential Trippier owners to move to?
I think if you haven't got Doherty like me, it's probably a Doherty get in, because he seems to just be essential at the moment. Maybe even Morrison. I like Morrison at the moment. I think he's due a goal from Cardiff.
Okay.
I think their fixtures aren't too bad.
Cardiff defender, you surprised me on that one. Okay.
Yeah, I just fancy. I feel like I need some sort of differential, just something to go right at the moment.
Okay.
It might be him with a goal sneaking somewhere.
I think you're trying to get too crazy on it. Maybe too many differentials. Maybe play it safe with Doherty.
There's a spot there for someone. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, but probably Doherty. I don't know. I don't think I'll get Doherty for the next two because his fixtures are difficult. I don't think he's going to get much against Bournemouth. And then he's got, is it City? Was it? Let me see here. Liverpool. That's it.
Liverpool, yeah.
So tough.
Yeah, exactly. And what I had been saying about Doherty, which is still rings true. We can't rely on the Wolves' defence at the moment. So they haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 games now, and all those 2 and those 1 pointers, which you and I both owned him for from what was it, about game week 7, I think it was. And it's just so happens in these last 2 weeks again he got a yellow yesterday. I mean, so that goal really saved his bacon in the last minute, and the same with the assist against Chelsea. I don't think you can rely on goals and assists from Doherty every week when the most goals he's ever scored in this season was 4.
That's it. He's just having a blinder, isn't he?
He's just having a blinder, exactly. A really good week. I mean, I could potentially see him getting something in the Bournemouth game, if I'm honest, because Bournemouth looked pretty woeful against Liverpool. Conceded a lot of shots recently, and I could see him getting an assist in that game.
Maybe, yeah.
Exactly. I can't see him getting a clean sheet, though. So you're just relying on him for goals and assists.
If Wilson is back, then definitely not. But if he's not there, then they could get a clean sheet. I think they looked pretty poor without Wilson.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But after that, you're right. They do have some tricky fixtures. They've got Liverpool and Tottenham, who are notoriously going to be well organised defensively. And Palace, I think, will be, again, well organised defensively, difficult to break down. Fulham, although not likely to score. And it's that Fulham game where it's going to be hell for leather.
They did well against Tottenham before, though, so I may get him back in when they play Fulham. And, then they got that Tottenham away game, which should be good.
Okay, so Doherty and Morrison you'd sort of suggest as potential Trippier replacements. Would you go to anyone else in that Spurs defence if you wanted to keep with them?
Not sure.
It's a difficult one to call.
It's so expensive, and there's even Foyth is out at the moment as well. And the other two, like Tongan and Alvaro, don't really offer much going forward.
No.
Aurier, obviously, don't really look great at all. And Davis and Rose rotate. Didn't fancy it.
So do you want to predict a score in that one? In the Spurs-Burnley game?
2-0 Spurs.
2-0, okay.
Hopefully they can keep it relatively low scoring.
Yeah, I think you also got to remember as well, I'll give you a little bit of encouragement. The last time everyone got really excited about Harry Kane captaincy at home was against Cardiff. Do you remember when he got a yellow card and ended on 1 point? So
yeah, but he's got a history in this fixture, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Okay, Watford, Cardiff. I'm excited to see not excited, but I'd be pleased to see if Success starts up front tonight, because if Wilson's out, I'm happy to leave him on the bench with that orangey yellow flag and play Success in this game. But I think Watford are probably looking one of the worst form teams in the league at the moment. I think they've drawn 2 in their last 5 3 losses.
Yeah.
They've conceded 9 in that time and only scored 2 goals. So I think they're definitely going the wrong way at the moment, and I don't see them getting anything from this Everton game tonight. And a couple of weeks ago, they were quite exciting me because I was thinking Delafeu looked like he could be an option, and their defence, Holebas was coming back in. He'd scored a goal against Southampton. I mean, it was a few weeks ago now, maybe 4 or 5, but I was thinking, okay, Watford look like they're coming back up here. But yeah, the last 5, they've been really, really poor. So I'm hoping that this home game against Cardiff gives them a bit of impetus, and they think, okay, Success, we need you to get something up front. I don't know.
I fancy Cardiff in that game.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I don't know why. I just think Watford look pretty poor at the moment.
They do, yeah.
I think Success has done basically nothing. So if he starts tonight and does nothing, I think Gray is going to start against Cardiff. And I think Success is going to be back on bench for a few games at least. Yeah, that's why 2 pence on that one.
Yeah, so you like Morrison? You like Morrison from the Cardiff side to come in?
Morrison to get a game.
Okay. I think fair shout to anyone that brought in Paterson recently, because he's been doing well. He obviously picked up 9 points this past weekend, 5.3 and only 1.4% of the game owned him. I think he's looking for a right back playing centre forward. He's looking pretty tasty.
It reminds me of just like a rabid dog. He's just so determined to just He's just nipping at people's heels all the time. I like him as a player actually. I hate his mustache, but I like him as a sort of an asset of just.
Yeah.
He's just always on it here. He's just always going to get something. It seems like.
Yeah, he's just working his socks off in it at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw like a highlight that there was against the game Cardiff played at home against the Wolves when Hoylett scored the winner. There was like a clip of him like 2-footing the ball. He like jumped from like the 6-yard box and 2-foot the ball back into the back of the net and slid. I just thought that summed him up. Just 100% flying into everything. I actually looked at his stats to compare him to some of the other players in that bracket who are classed as midfielders. So he's at. I know that he's playing centre forward, which obviously boosts his appeal as an out of position player. So he's averaging nearly 1.5 shots per game. So to put that in perspective a little bit, Snodgrass, who's similarly priced, 0.4 average shots per game. Brooks slightly more, but less still than Paterson at 1.2 shots per game. More interestingly than both of that is that Richarlison, who's been playing as an out-of-position striker and still listed as a midfielder, is only averaging 0.1 of a shot more per game than Paterson. So for that, 1.7-ish, 1.8 million extra? Mm-hmm. I think that's quite an interesting thing to consider there, which is part of the reason why I'm looking to take out Richarlison. I just don't think for that 7 million at the moment he's quite offering the value. I think it'd be an upgrade also. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking forward to Watford. Well, looking forward to watching Watford tonight to see if success deserves his start, basically.
Yeah,
cool.
You might be disappointed, but
I think Well, Wolves and Bournemouth. Then, do you want to start on Jimenez?
Just that bench came out of nowhere again. Just rumoured on Twitter in the morning or the evening. And it said he was going to be benched, and it turned out to be that he was benched. So I brought him in for Arnie. Then that just came out. It's so annoying. Just typical. Like Mitrovic, the other option, didn't do much either. So obviously Chicharito did well. But just so frustrating, isn't it? What can I do? I had no idea. So I did it with all the best intentions and came on and hit the bar. This just sums up my week, really.
You mustn't beat yourself up about it, because a lot of people were in the same situation, because Arnautovic was injured. Wilson, Jimenez and Mitrovic were all the top 3 replacement picks this week. And I was saying to you, on Sunday or maybe even on Saturday, I think it's the first time this season when a lot of the mid-price strikers have all failed. So Wilson picked up 0, didn't even play. Mitrovic got subbed at half-time, and Jimenez came on just after half-time. So and it's funny because we bigged them all up last week and said how important each of them are to their teams. And all of them, Jimenez, they got that win, which I think was a bit fortunate, really, in the 95th minute. But none of them were on the wing side.
There was Jota. Like there was so many times he could have passed the easy through balls to Jimenez. There was at least 3 chances that he could have got him in, and he just fluffed it up.
He was still quite active when he came on though, because he had 3 shots in those 30 minutes. One of which of those hit the bar. So it's not like
Jota could have put him through. He could have even had even more chances.
Yeah.
I think he could have scored easily if he got them through.
But watching him as an owner now, rather than just watching him as an asset, you were probably impressed, I would have thought, with his performance. Yeah, so I think moving forward, I think you should be happy that you've now got him, because you've been trying to get him in your team for 10 or so game weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident of a return.
Yeah.
But, obviously speaking of Jota as well, goal and assist. The person who's the most in FPL so far, from 6.5 to 5.9. And, because a lot of people owned him at the start of the season, didn't they? Thinking he could do really well.
I owned him.
Championship with 18 goals. Including both of us. But he seems to have played himself into the team now. I can't really see him being dropped because Costa looks pretty poor. I mean, it'll probably be Costa who plays with him. Traore looks awful again. I don't know why he keeps getting starts. Probably just rotation Christmas. But, I think it'll be Jimenez, Jota, and Costa at the weekend. And Jota looks good in form. Looks like he's probably going to keep getting goals. Pushing on now. So 5.9 could be a bargain, honestly. But would I feel confident in Jimenez and Jota and Wolves doing enough each week?
No.
In both of them? probably not.
No way.
But maybe it's a sort of risk that I need at this point. I don't know. But for other people that possibly want to downgrade Richarlison, who don't have him, Jota could be good.
Yeah, it could be. It's definitely a differential. I'm worried about you taking all these risks you're talking about. When I was
talk about them, so don't worry.
Okay, good. I was going to say, when I was down at when I had that slowish start to the season and I was sort of in the 100,000s, I was just trying to make sure I play it safe. And I just continue to play it safe, not take too many risks. And fortunately, many times it hasn't backfired. So I don't know. Touch wood, it continues, but I think it's safety is the name of the game. Yeah. No, I'm impressed with Jota as well. So one to keep an eye on, I think, over the Christmas time. Bournemouth, in that game, had a bit of a patchy run recently. Obviously beat Huddersfield, but I think it was their first win in their last 5. So this will be their one win in 6 now. I think is for Bournemouth.
Huddersfield had way more possession in the game as well.
Yeah, they did, and I don't think Bournemouth looked too special after the goals from what I saw of it. So yeah, both of us will be hoping that Wilson is back to lead the line, but yeah, a few question marks popping up over Bournemouth assets because they're dropping a bit down the table, but not really worried too much at the moment.
What do you think of Fraser? Fraser didn't do much today.
Yeah, he had a quiet game, but it was against Liverpool, wasn't it? Against Liverpool, you're not coming off
performance, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Tough one. Coming off the goal and assist against Huddersfield, you obviously take that, and you're not expecting the world against Liverpool. But yeah, they've got who have they got? They got Wolves away, and then they got Brighton at home before Tottenham and Man United. So the next 2 look good, but yeah, after that Tottenham, Man United. So yeah, going to keep my eye on Fraser and Wilson and just see what happens. They're not going to be too drastic with those because they're quite heavily owned, aren't they? And taking one out and them returning could lead to a big red arrow.
I just don't want Wilson to be an issue, another issue on the wild card. Arnie gets injured, then Wilson gets injured. I just hope he can just come back this weekend and do well. Honestly.
Yeah, so do I. Cool. So, fingers crossed indeed. So the 5:30 game next Saturday is another London derby, Fulham against West Ham. So I've got my eye on Anderson. Richarlison, we've got these 2 tricky home games. Anderson's been playing well recently. Although he's getting these goals and the assists, I'm thinking that his underlying stats don't look or don't match up with his performances. Like he looks like he's way overperforming his stats at the moment, if that makes sense. So he had 3 shots in the Palace game. Only one of them was in the box. He scored the worldie, didn't he, from the outside of the box. I know I don't know. He's been in good form at the moment, but it's funny that the eye test is overpowering the stats by quite a long way, which is a strange one. How do you feel as an owner? Are you pleased with him at the moment? And what did you think of him against?
Yeah, I feel good about him. I think he's taking enough shots for where he is. He's taking free kicks. He's on set pieces. Takes a few corners as well, I believe. I think he's involved in everything they do. I think in the 3-1 against Cardiff, wasn't it? I think he's unlucky not to return.
Yeah.
He was involved, but he was assister of the assister. I feel like this week he's just going to be leading to more. He's been fairly consistent, and their fixtures are so good. I really like him, and I don't see why you wouldn't be able to really at this point. Because I feel like Snodgrass is in huge form. I think the whole team feels confident at the moment. Yeah. Chicharito's in really good form as well. He was Arnie replacement. He actually did well. 2 goals, 1 assist in his last 3. I feel like they're a full team. They're feeling good, and any 3 of those options are good.
Yeah, no, they're looking good at the moment, West Ham. And like I said earlier, that Pellegrini seems to be keen on them scoring goals, and I think they're only a few points, maybe 1 or 2 behind Bournemouth now. Which is crazy to think, really, because Bournemouth looked like they had an excellent start to the season, and they were flying, and West Ham was slow out the blocks, but they've just been clawing them back in. And I think Anderson's going to be my go-to player there, but I also think that Snodgrass and Chica look like great options. Snodgrass looks like he's been given a bit of freedom to move in off the left. Off the right, and that's where he got his goal from. And he's been putting some nice he's been setting up some big chances, key passes. Obviously got the 2 assists, wasn't it, for again the Cardiff game?
Yep.
And obviously the goal to go with it, I think he's looking like a really nice differential down at about 5.3. I think you'd expect assists more than goals with him, but yeah, I think he's looking like a tidy option.
Yeah, I like him as well.
So Chica was another one we briefly touched on last week. He's now, in the most recent game, against Palace, he had 4 touches in the box. 3 of them were shots. He's 6'3", so he's sort of a bit more expensive than Jimenez, really. I think was the closest striker to him. He looks like an interesting option with Arnautovic out, and he's just typical poacher. And I think with the sort of players Anderson and Snodgrass sort of feeding him in the 6-yard box, I reckon he'll be on for a few goals against Fulham. That defense.
Proper poacher, isn't he? He is always just there, and I feel like he'll be on for a few goals as well. I feel like they'll probably put Fulham to the sword and then beat them about 3-4-1, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be high scoring. He's got four goal involvements in the last 3 games, so I definitely think that's going to continue. And I think he's a good option, a good option with Arnie out.
It's tempting to double up on him, even though that the double failed me so hard in the wildcard first game, but they look in form, and it's hard to go against form teams with such good fixtures.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the fixture ticker is all green, isn't it?
Yeah. But
Fulham, Watford, Southampton, Burnley, Brighton. It's just, there could be a case to double up, especially on Chica around Christmas time. I feel like with defences, tired legs, there's notoriously hardly any clean sheets around Christmas and the New Year. Teams are tired, and those away games against Southampton and Burnley, I just got this image of Anderson breaking away, and then Chica's just getting squared the ball in the middle, and he just celebrates like, I've scored my 5th goal against Southampton. I can just see it happening.
He doesn't really ever complete 90 minutes though.
No, he doesn't.
He has done it one of the recent games, but the other 2 he gets taken off early, so that's something to consider.
Yeah. No, agree. I think there's some good options at West Ham in that game against Fulham. They could go crazy. On the Fulham side of things, Mitrovic got subbed, didn't he, after 45 minutes? He's on 4 yellows, so he's 1 game away from a ban. This is where their good run of fixtures start now. They've got West Ham, Newcastle, Wolves and Huddersfield. 3 of those are at home in the next 4. They've got to start getting some points on the board. So you'd think Mitrovic, Kamara is looking like options, maybe, or not?
It's hard to say. I don't think he's still nailed, but I don't know what happened with Mitrovic. Why was he subbed?
I have no idea.
Like, did he get a slight injury, or?
I haven't heard anything about an injury, so maybe someone in the chat in the comments will tell us.
Yeah, I mean, it seems weird that he would come off full Kamara when they're trying to chase the game. Like what? So I don't know. Honestly, slightly worried for him, to be honest. Kamara, not sure either. Mitrovic could still be the man, but it might have just been an anomaly. So, but Kamara's done well. Looks like a good bench option. He's probably going to get minutes in most games. So we just don't know if he'll start. If you got him, keep him. If you want to get downgraded from somewhere else, then he seems like a decent 3rd striker.
Well, the back-to-back goals now is what I'm looking at and thinking, okay, he's unlike success. He's playing and he's scoring and he's looking lively. And those fixtures on the horizon, coupled with Watford's form, it just feels like if I'm going to have if I've got these, because I've got 2 transfers in hand now, and I think I'm only going to use 1 this week, I might just pick up the luxury of swapping success for Kamara, and then just having him there on the bench, knowing that over Christmas they've got these great fixtures. He could, and he's been getting goals. He looks like he's in a bit of form. You never know when you're going to have a player missing, like this weekend. Namely, Wilson being out. I don't know. It could be a useful transfer to have in the back pocket there.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool, but we both of us see nothing but a West Ham winning that one, do we?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So on Sunday, the first of the 2 games we got to look forward to are 3 games on Sunday. 3 games on Sunday. Brighton against Chelsea. You were talking about Hazard earlier. Is he back in your thinking now?
Absolutely. Yeah, 2 assists in that game. False 9 didn't look great there, but hopefully Giroud or Morata can come back in. Yeah, he's involved in everything Chelsea do, aren't they? Even when he's playing at false 9, and he said in his post-match interview that he doesn't mind playing there. He doesn't get as much of the ball. But he's still got 2 assists, still 9 points, and I think he got a few bonus from it. I feel like his fixtures are so good now going forward. The next 4 or 5, next 5 great fixtures. So he could be essential again. His injury is cleared up, seems to be fine. Going to get rest in Europa, the Europa games, nailed on to start in the Premier League, 90 minutes usually.
Yep.
And we know how good he can be. We know what world-class player he is. So, it's if I want to get him in, it's Sane, but it's that would have to go. So it's possibly in a couple of weeks to see how Sane does, and then get Hazard in. I like him. Feels bad not having him. I don't think Alonso is enough cover anymore because he just doesn't seem to be getting forward enough. Is forward enough, he's just not getting many chances or anything. I do like him.
I think Chelsea have just got such a great run of fixtures now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the 4 goal involvements for the last 4, it seems like he's over the back complaint, which Sarri sort of put down to, or put his bad form down to, if you like.
Yeah.
It's such a difficult one at the moment because a lot of these big teams, City, Tottenham and Chelsea all have really good fixtures over Christmas. It's Liverpool that don't really, but then it's how do you pick... I say you can have 3 big hitters in your team, probably. 3 from Hazard, Sterling, Salah, Aubameyang and Kane. I think those are probably the... 5? Yeah, 5 players there, and you can probably fit 3 of those into your team. Maybe Sane as well, actually. And it's just a tricky one for... I would really love to have Hazard in my team, but I think it would mean either getting rid of Salah or Kane. And it's such a difficult one at the moment. It could be a case of if you've got 2 free transfers in the bank, that you just take each game week as it comes over the Christmas period and try your luck at swapping big hitters in and out for those great fixtures.
So I think Salah's blanked against every single top 6 team so far, and he's got, who is it coming up? He's got like 3 in the next 5.
Yeah, he has. You're right. You've got Arsenal, Man City, and I suppose you'd say United, but I don't know. But yeah, United, Arsenal, Man City in the next 5, and they go away to Wolves.
Yeah, so difficult, honestly. So I think most people were thinking of getting rid of Salah. Obviously he's gone on hold, but I think it's probably still quite a wise move. Because he's probably not going to do that well in those games.
Oh.
But then again, he is back to being the top FPL point scorer after that hat trick, and maybe he's on form. He's got Napoli in the midweek, hasn't he? Which they have to win, so you expect him to do well, and maybe he continues on. That's a big team to be playing, so if you can do well against them, no reason he can't do it against United, Arsenal, and City. United certainly.
Yeah. It seems so counterintuitive, doesn't it, though? Because you've mentioned it there, that his fixtures aren't good, and we know this season he hasn't scored against the big teams. But coming off the back of the biggest score anyone's had this season, it seems so difficult to remove him. Hazard hadn't come into my thinking, I'll be honest, until the Man City game. And the fact that he's now rolling on those assists, if he'd been given that stone... I think Chelsea have been unlucky to have not been given 2 Stonewall penalties as well, away against Chelsea and away against Wolves.
Yeah.
Imagine if he'd had both of those. Hazard's penalty record is insane. You'd be looking at a lot of points for Hazard in the last, over the whole season, probably close to, if not top of the midfielders striking. So, although I had not been considering it at all, Salah out for the... Also, I think what's quite an interesting reason to do it is the fact that you won't lose any value on Salah, because his price has pretty much remained a flat 13, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I could easily get rid of Salah for 13 mil, bring Hazard in for these... I'd say I'd probably keep him for the 5 fixtures, and then if I need to, I've got the cash there to bring him back. But it's just such a ballsy move.
Hazard's only 3 points behind Sterling, and everyone was writing Hazard off for those weeks, and he's only 3 points behind. So, and Sterling's having the season of his life, apparently. That's
exactly.
That puts it in perspective slightly. That, and with these fixtures coming up, seems kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I could. It's funny. I hadn't been thinking about it, but the more I talk about just taking advantage of these fixtures, I just prefer that even the next 2, Brighton and Leicester, over Liverpool's Man United and Wolves. But then
for sure.
Liverpool are top of the league. Salah could... no one was really expecting a Salah hat-trick, were they? So he just does the unexpected, and we saw that last season. It's a really tricky one.
And as we can see this week, that not only has it been painful.
Yeah. See, I feel like I've been playing it safe up until this point, quite safe. But then and Salah and Richarlison are definitely Richarlison's part of the template. Salah's probably still a little bit part of the template, but to take both of those out and take not really a gamble on them, but ballsy move, get rid of Salah and Richarlison for Hazard and Anderson. I don't know. Let's see. I'll have a think about it, and I'll post about it on our Twitter account.
You said you wanted to get rid of him again. So
yeah.
Why not Kane? Keep Salah.
Could downgrade Kane to a cheaper striker and upgrade Richarlison, couldn't I, to Hazard and keep them all? Oh, there's lots of ways of doing it. And now that I've got the 2 free transfers as well. Woo! Okay, I'll have a think. But that's one to look forward to, isn't it? Hazard. So, I wanted to just mention one of the Chelsea defenders. We were talking about Alonso's ticking over these clean sheets. I think David Luiz has got to give a shout out for, because he was the main man, wasn't he, against City? The goal and the 3 bonus points. 5.6 mil he is. He's so much cheaper than Alonso, and with Alonso's sort of reduced attacking threat, it could be a viable route over Christmas to bring Luiz back in, because he had that rest, didn't he, against Wolves? And I wouldn't be surprised to see, after Alonso got taken off, didn't he, early against, was it Palace the other week? No.
Can't remember, to be honest.
They were at home against someone, Fulham, that was it. They were taken off early against Fulham. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Alonso get a benching over Christmas. And I feel like Luiz is probably nailed on now that he's had his rest. So maybe.
Again, like everyone sold, lots of people sold Alonso.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
Him, and that's where he comes up with his points. Like, keep selling him. Like, I'm happy to, and I think he'll start to bring back his assists. And he's always there. Like, I don't know why he's giving away free kicks as well as other people. He needs to start being like, let me take these.
Yeah, I'm the man.
Exactly. Like, I still like him. Probably keep him.
What do you think about Brighton's prospects in this one then against Chelsea? Any hope for them? They do like a big game.
So they might do all right, but I think Duffy being out affects them slightly. And obviously Chelsea are a solid team, so I can't see them doing too much. Murray was benched again at the weekend, wasn't he? So I imagine that he'll come back in, and obviously an injury had slight bits to play in that. But can Murray outdo Luiz and Rudiger? Probably not.
I think it'd be very difficult.
So it is the clean Chelsea, I'd say.
It is the first of 4 home games in the next 6 for Brighton.
Okay.
So I think that's something to consider.
Toughish.
There are some difficult fixtures, but Matt Ryan maybe could be a good move for save points. I think their home games are against Chelsea, Arsenal, and Everton. So they are really tricky. But they perform better.
As well. I think there's 2 points in most of those, maybe 3. So.
Yeah, they perform better at home. But I felt they looked really toothless without Murray against Burnley, and that was Burnley who've been conceding like Billio.
Yeah.
It's not a stat, but it's just a phrase. Anyway, at home against Chelsea, I agree. I don't really see much there. I think this is where Hazard could do some damage.
Possibly.
Okay, so Southampton against Arsenal. We had a question via our Twitter page about Laka and Aubameyang, and whether it was a sensible investment to have double Arsenal or spread that money out over your team. So you've obviously got Aubameyang. Would you ever consider doubling up, or do you think it's just too much Arsenal?
I definitely did consider it, but the past 2 games have been an indication that they're not firing at the moment. I think they'll probably get back to it. The Southampton game is a good indicator for that. But I was tempted, and I think it possibly is a good move. So when they do bang, those 2 are going to be in the goals. I think probably just been unlucky, really. There's probably better investment elsewhere. So, like I said, downgrade to someone else like Mitrovic or whatever, or Wilson, Jimenez, Chicharito, and then upgrade possibly to Hazard in the midfield if you don't have him now. I think that could be a good move.
No, I agree. I think as Aubameyang looks like he's, I don't know if you feel the same way, but he looks like he's becoming Emery's main man now. Maybe of these last 4 or 5 game weeks. I think did he have I think it was about 4 shots in the Huddersfield game, so he's looking quite, he's looking potent again, more so probably than he's ever done so far this season. I'd say maybe because he's been playing wide,
missing a few chances.
Yeah. So no, I think personally, I think double Arsenal attack would be way too much to go on, considering how much they both are. But they have got the fixtures there. I think the person that sent that question, I just tried to look for their Twitter handle. I couldn't see it, but that person had like a team value of 107.5 million. So shout out to him for playing the market and having all that money to play with. But even with all that cash, I think it'd be better spent elsewhere in your squad rather than double Arsenal attack, to be honest. What do you think of, or what do you think, even still moving forward, of Kolasinac? You've been touting him really for the past, probably since that Bournemouth game, because they won away.
Yeah, looked attacking again, and they kept a clean sheet, didn't they? So
they did, yeah.
But against Huddersfield, they don't do much at all, do they? Huddersfield away, they don't do much going forward. Southampton away, tougher clean sheet possibly, but I don't see why it couldn't be. Is he nailed on to continue? Because he doesn't seem to really be a good defender at all. And I think Koscielny, is close to coming back in. Obviously holding is out. I think someone else got injured in that game. Was it Mustafi who got possibly injured?
I'm not sure.
One of them that came off as well, or close to. I think, who was it that came on? Was it Monreal? I've completely lost track now. But so one of them may slot back into that back three, Monreal or Koscielny, or they'll go to back 4 and Kolasinac maybe miss out and Monreal on the left. So I think it's possibly a risk, but I like him going forward. If he continues his pace, he looks good. The assists are coming pretty soon. He's had 2 in a few games back, and probably a goal soon. Just maybe a deflection or something coming off him back to him on the left. I still like him.
He's got history, hasn't he, of getting in the box, and his heat maps have shown in the last couple of games that he's been racing forward, and he's passing the eye test for me. When we watched this game against Spurs, he was basically hanging out on the edge of the Spurs penalty area, and he loves a little wrestle and a tussle, doesn't he? So once he's in the box, he's just barreling people out of the way. But 5 million he's up to now, 2.7% ownership. So I think he's the same price as Doherty. But that like you say, really the fixtures are there for Arsenal still. The Southampton, Burnley, Brighton, and Fulham in the next 5. It's looking good for them. On the flip side of things, I'm not too confident on what I saw and read about the Southampton game, because I was sort of ready to get excited about the new manager coming in and thinking it would unlock some potential, but they had 1 shot on target against Cardiff. I thought they'd be, new manager bounce, they'd be G'd up, ready to go, and I thought they, just
he
a bit of a letdown.
To completely restructure their defence as well. Is it Vestergaard and some other guy?
Well, they had a player called Jan Valery play 45 minutes, 4 million defender, so he could be an interesting enabler, but he only played for 45.
So
it's just so many question marks about Southampton now. I thought things would be clearer after 1 game, but I'm even more confused. We need Ings back, don't we? And we need something to.
Austin started, so maybe that's a sign that he likes Austin. But will Ings be the main man when he comes back?
I would have thought so. Yeah, I would have thought so.
But
the fact that he's
can he make Redmond good? Maybe
Redmond is just like I don't know. He's just. I want him to do better. It looks like he can do better than what he's doing. He's like a 2 and 3 point man this season.
He's looked threatening. So
he's always looked threatening. It's a bit like Tadic was at Southampton a couple of years back. I was always like, oh, Tadic, man, he's got the skills. He's getting in the box. He's having these shots. But he's never delivered.
Maybe Redmond should go to the Netherlands League because Tadic is having storm out there.
Yeah, that's a good
maybe
idea.
Redmond will turn into a quality player in the Dutch league.
Yeah, we'll ring up his agent and find out.
Thanks,
I just found out that the guy that sent in the question about Aubameyang and Lacazette, thank you, FPL Dylan it was. I feel like we're getting tweeted, I'm getting tweeted questions for tonight's show. So as we're sort of answering them without even realising, Kieran, with that on topic at the moment, FPL DB tweeted in just to ask us about Hazard a minute ago, and guys, we're just talking about it. We're making things happen here.
We're intrigued.
We're intrigued. Yeah, we're on it. Okay, so the last game of.
Hold on a second. What do you think of Aubameyang captain for me this week?
I've got some stats for you in a minute. That's going to make you question your Aubameyang captain when we do the game week 70 Pro. But I'm a bit cautious to tell you anything now, because you might take it too literally, and I get blamed for you taking Doherty out. So yeah, we'll see about that. I bet maybe I won't say anything. But anyway, there we go. Liverpool Man United, the 4 PM game on Sunday. I can't wait for this one, Kieran. I just feel Jose's going to do some classic shithousery next Sunday, and it's going to be brilliant. What do you think?
Big game.
It's a big game.
Big game.
Yeah.
Maybe Rashford and Pogba could do well. I think Pogba is due to start in the Champions League, and it's been a sort of like gauntlet thrown down by Jose, saying that Pogba's in for the Champions League, he's gonna start, and he needs to prove himself, sort of thing. So, I think he will do. I think he'll do well against Valencia, and come in at the weekend. And I think he needs to have a standout game for United if they want to do anything in this game. Rashford as well, really. He needs to show his qualities, or he can bugger off to League Two, as I've said a lot of time.
Rashford's been United's best player for the last 4 or 5 games. He just loves slagging him off. Unbelievable.
So I can see a bit low scoring. I don't think Salah's going to get too much in this game, but I could possibly see a Liverpool clean sheet.
I can see it. I know. I think it's going to be a fascinating game, really. But I mean, like we were talking about Salah before, so he's now scored 40 goals in 52 games for Liverpool. I think he probably plays better when Mane's not in the side from the start, because most of the attacking play goes through him.
Yeah.
So but Mane came on, didn't he, at the weekend? So I would assume Mane joins the lineup again against United. He had 4 shots, so he's looking more involved. He's playing that centre forward role. I don't know. It's such a difficult one to call from a scoreline point of view. Everything about it says that it should be a comfortable Liverpool win to nils, maybe like a 1-0 or a 2-0. But the fact that it's a derby, anything can happen, and Jose just loves shithousing in a big game. I could just see, I don't know, Rashford is the form player for United at the moment. I think he's 2 goals, wasn't it, and the assist in that game against Fulham, albeit Fulham, and it's 5 goal involvements in the last 3 now. He just seems banging form at the moment, and 6-8, owned by 6.5% of the game.
Matip's probably going to be that weak link. See if they can get through him, and then there might be a chance for some goals for that. Trent will probably come back in. He had his rest. He should play for the foreseeable future for the next few weeks, as well as Robertson. He's had his sort of injury/rest the last week or so, hasn't he? So it's tough to call, like you said, but I feel like a Liverpool clean sheet is definitely on the cards, and maybe a 1-0 win or a 0-0. It could just be a 0-0.
I think I just wanted to mention about how important this game is really in terms of the title race. So
Liverpool
and Liverpool's season, really, because they've got this massive game against Napoli to get out of the Champions League group. They definitely don't want to end up in the Europa League, which I think is a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's a permutation they can do that. So they definitely don't want to do that. And after just getting to the top of the league, they can't lose their position there after 1 game week. So they're 2 huge games in the space of 4 or 5 days, and I think it's going to really, really, really test them. But it's such a difficult one to call.
If they fall out of the Champions League, right, then I feel like United have the chance to win that game.
Okay. You think they'll be down a bit?
Yeah, I think they will be. But obviously, then they'll have to focus on the league to try and win it. But I think they'll be down, and I think it will affect them.
Yeah. I think that obviously not speaking as a Liverpool fan, but most Liverpool fans I would have thought would prefer they go out of Europe entirely, rather than just drop into the Europa League so they can focus on the league, and they've got these weeks, a whole week to prepare for that. I mean, this is the best chance they've got. Usually the thing is in the league, if you're top at Christmas, you're going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season in terms of winning the thing. So if they can stay nose in front by Christmas, that's always such a big deal.
To be honest, I see them beating Napoli fairly easily. I think they'll beat them quite well because they need to. And I think they'll probably beat United by a goal-ish.
Yeah, I see most likely scoreline being a goal or 2-0 for in terms of Liverpool. I just expect some shithousery from Jose. I just wanted to also just touch on Alisson before we move on really briefly, and the fact that he's still 5-7 in the game. He's now scored. I think he's scored more total points than all but 2 defenders. So I think that's Alonso and Robertson, and he's only scored, or only 4 strikers have scored more of them. I think it's Aubameyang, Kane, Wilson, and Aguero. So for his 5.7 price, he's doing incredibly well this season.
Yeah,
it's all those just clean sheets, continuing to play, picking up save points here and there, the odd bonus, obviously not very much. But yeah, when you compare him to, I was fascinated when I saw that yesterday because I was thinking, wow, all those points for that 5-7,
he's
nailed on.
Throughout Ederson, but Ederson's had 5 blanks in his last 6.
So you think
Ederson's fixtures have turned to the better now. There's definitely clean sheets coming, isn't there?
Yeah, no, I agree. There's clean sheets coming for City.
But yeah, Alisson, good value.
Cool. All right, should we move on to just talking about what we're planning to do with our transfers and captains and our justifications for that this week, and then picking out some clean sheets?
Transfers, I'm still honestly not sure. I'm waiting for the European games to be played and conferences. Possibilities are Richarlison and Trippier, possibly to Hazard in some way if I can, or just a Trippier downgrade to someone just to have someone to be there to play. Don't really want to have Digne off the bench for anyone against City, so yeah, it might just have to be a Trippier downgrade. Might be involved at a -4 as well to get Hazard in. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. So how many? You have 2 free transfers this week?
No, just one on money. Just one. I had to get money out because I had issues.
Of course, yeah. No, all right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I would probably suggest. It seems like Wilson is probably going to be okay for this or next game week.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think Trippier transfer would be priority. Hazard is an interesting one.
But I could possibly even just save it and get the 2 because maybe just put Digne last on the bench and just have Gerson come in against Watford. Not awful.
No, I think it's all right. Decent fixture, like you say. You fancy them at Watford, don't you? So
yeah,
okay.
True.
I think, as we've discussed, really, I think my transfer, one of my transfers this week definitely is going to be Richarlison out for Anderson, just regardless if he scores or not. I'm not worried about team value at the moment.
Is that straight? Have you got enough money in the bank?
Yeah, I've got enough money in the bank. I've got although, like I said to you earlier, who's making transfers on a Sunday night for Anderson?
Yeah.
Oh, man, guys, chill, okay? Wait till Friday and the press conferences and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Anderson's gone up in price. I'm pretty sure I can afford him because I think I've got like about 7 in Richarlison. And Anderson's what, like 7.2 or 7.3?
7.3.
I think I've got 0.4 or 0.5 in the bank, so I'll be all right. So I'm probably going to do that. And then the Salah one is interesting me, if I'm honest. I hadn't been thinking about it before the show, and now I'm thinking maybe I'll gamble on Hazard. But yeah, I'm going to keep Kane, and Kane is going to be my captain. Now, I'm going to talk to you about these stats, wasn't I, about Aubameyang?
Mm-hmm.
So I always like to, when I'm deciding a captain, I like to see how poor the other team are in relation to my captain. So, like I was saying earlier about Burnley, they're averaging 24 shots when they play away from home this season. So Kane's looking good there.
Yeah.
Everton, when they play away from home, they only concede 13 shots. So I thought that was interesting. And Aubameyang, when he plays, Southampton, when they play at home, they only concede on average of 12 shots per game. That is the least of those 3 teams, and I thought it was quite a decent return, really. So despite their terrible position in the league, I know it's a new manager, but it's worth considering. They keep it fairly not tight at home, but they're not as crazy as Burnley.
Yeah, it's tough again this week, annoyingly, because I just hoped Arsenal were banging goals in, but I'd be really confident in Salah or Aubameyang, sorry. So yeah, it might be just a 50-50 and might even put it on Anderson.
I was just about to say Anderson is not a bad differential this week. We know how bad Fulham are; he's in form, but then
I'm in need of a good captain, so I feel like Aubameyang is my gut feeling this week.
Okay, and then Sterling definitely vice captain just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Cool. All right. Well, do you want to pick out a couple of clean sheets, and I'll do the same for this weekend?
Okay. I'll go for Huddersfield against Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then Chelsea. Brighton.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I'm gonna, like I said earlier, I'm gonna stick with Palace and say they're gonna get a clean sheet at home against Leicester. I'm also gonna go for Watford because I feel like they'll lose tonight. They're in terrible form, but I think that they'll be up for that big game against Cardiff at the weekend. So I'm back Watford. I know it's a crazy decision, but
no, I think it's a shot. Could be, yeah.
Gonna back Watford. Cool. All right. Is there anything else you want to chit chat about? Any final thoughts?
I did want to in the United Liverpool game. Wanted to mention below quickly. He's 5.3, and Jose said good things about him, that he could be the future of that position for the next 10 years or whatever. So, and he looks like he's in good form. Got man of the match against Fulham.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could come in and he could be good. He looks like he likes to get forward. Could get a few assists. Yeah, just someone I wanted to mention.
Yeah, no, I agree. Those highlights on Match of the Day, he was just whipping some balls in, wasn't he? He was looking good, up and down. I know it was against Fulham, but I really hope he starts in midweek in Champions League.
They have fixtures, United.
So. They do. That's why Rashford was crazily appealing to me, because he's been their shining light recently. With Pogba out of the team, they've looked pretty slick, actually. So yeah, after that Liverpool game,
even Lukaku.
What was that? Sorry.
Even Lukaku scored.
Yeah. Even Lukaku scored. Something must be happening. I think it's just Fulham. Cool. All right. I don't have anything more to add, so I think we're good, aren't we?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back this time next week because it's just Saturday and Sunday games next week. So we'll be back Monday night with our preview show. In the meantime, if you have any questions about your team, Kieran and I are more than happy to answer them either on YouTube or Twitter. Tweet us or drop a comment below. You can find us on Twitter at FPLCOUGARS. Also, if you like listening in the future on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just search FPLCOUGARS on either of those and you will find our podcast. That usually comes out about 12 hours or so after we put it on YouTube, but yeah, all in good time. Cool. All right, I think that's everything. So until next week, have a great week and a great game week 17. Bye-bye now.
Cheers, and I'm hoping for Kieran and Richarlison points tonight.
Yeah. Oh, should we do a quick score prediction? Because it's starting 3-0 Everton. Okay, cool.
Richarlison 1, assisted 2-0.
Oh yeah, okay. I think they're gonna win 2-0 as well. I'll say 2-0. I'll say Sigurdsson and Richarlison.
Perfect.
Digne assist. Let's hope so. Anyway, cool. All right. All right. Cheers then. Bye now.